started reading from the chapter Health and the Opportunity to Think Freely from Within Reason. I begin on a personal note. I was never really supposed to be able to do what I do for a living. Where I grew up, the notion that one would find gainful employment by having ideas and working to develop them in academia was close to inconceivable. On the island of Malta, when I lived there were really just three options for the intellectually ambitious: doctor, lawyer, or priest. I initially chose doctor, but over the decades, this role has evolved into a privileged position of being able to work in academic public health, where I get to help shape a conversation about how to build a healthier world. Had my teenage self been able to see into the future and glimpse what I'm doing now, he would have been quite surprised. The longer I do this work, the more I am struck by how extraordinary it is that anyone gets to do it, let alone me. I'm reminded of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, with the basics of food and shelter at the bottom and engagement with meaning and ideas somewhere near the top. For much of human history, it has been all most people could do to satisfy foundational needs, to access the material resources necessary to keep body and soul together. That we now have a society that supports the pursuit of ideas as a viable career path is a rare and fairly recent achievement in the grand scheme of history. At the heart of this opportunity is the ability to think and speak freely, to feel that one can share ideas, agree or disagree, be challenged, but ultimately know that the exchange of ideas will be respected in a broad sense as an inheritance of the Enlightenment. As an immigrant, I have long viewed this inheritance through the lens of America, of the unique promise of coming to these shores. This is partly because of my early life in Malta, growing up during the tumultuous regime of Dom Mintoff, where I saw political repression and violent factional conflict firsthand. I remember one incident in 1979 when supporters of the government burned down the headquarters of the Times of Malta. A key promise of America is that it is a place where such an event could not happen, where freedom of thought and expression is valued and protected. What I did not expect on arriving in the United States, however, was that everybody seemed to have an individual definition of freedom. I've always been drawn to the definition offered by the Polish revolutionary Rosa Luxemburg. According to her, freedom is always and exclusively freedom for the one who thinks differently. This, I think, covers most of us. Few could say they have never found themselves in a position of thinking differently. A life without such moments would be empty indeed.